Ναι, ναι. Κάτι έχουμε, κάτι ξέρουμε.
Εντάξει, εγώ κάνω την εισαγωγή, το υπόλοιπο είναι δικό σας και το σημαντικό κομμάτι. Έχετε δίκιο. Αθηνά μου, σας ευχαριστώ πολύ. Αυτό περιμένω να εγκατασταθούν, αυτό περιμένω. Just a second. Νομίζω ότι μπορούμε σιγά σιγά. Καλώς ορίσατε.
Welcome. I will make a very brief introduction to welcome you all. We're in the first presentation of a publisher yesterday. Today we have with us Mrs. Rania Bakr, who is the rights manager and publisher from Al Arabi Publishing from Egypt. Elena Pataki, publisher from Pataki's Publishing, Mrs. Paula Capola from Nisos Publishing, Lisa Sciola from Stereoma Publishing. Lola Rosu will be the moderator. Thank you very much.
Good morning all. I'm very honored to be the moderator of this panel, which is organized within the framework of Publish Here. The title is Promoting Diversity in Publishing, but here, we are here to talk specifically about the role of women publishers, the challenges and the problem they face, their point of view, their work, and the prospects ahead. Before starting with the questions, I would like to say a few things about my speakers today. I would like to present Rania Bakr from the Al Arabi Publishing House, an independent publisher that was founded 49 years ago. In 2010, Al Arabi launched its translation project under the title of Different Books to introduce new cultures to Arab readers. As the person in charge of acquisition, Rania Bakr was responsible for acquiring rights from various parts of the world, targeting cultures that Arab readers had not previously explored. Efforts were recognized in 2022 when Al Arabi received the prestigious King Abdallah ibn Abd al-Aziz Award in translation. Today, the Al Arabi has successfully translated and published more than 430 titles from 66 different countries. I'm honored to have Lisa Sciola here, who was born in Thessaloniki and lives and works in Athens. She is the head of Stereoma Publications. She studied architecture in the National Technical University of Athens and urban planning in the Institut d'Urbanisme de Paris. She worked as an architect and urban planner until 2010, and since 2010, she is the head of Stereoma Publications. In 2014, under her own initiative, Stereoma Publications expanded in the field of literature, essays, and books of art. Due to her close relationship with the French language and culture, her choices regarding writers for publication in the Greek language included mainly French writers, classic and contemporary. Among them are the awarded with Concours Mathias Hénard and Nicolas Mathieu. For this activity of hers, she was awarded by the French Ministry of Culture the title of the Knight of the Order of Arts and Letters. Her activity as an editor also expanded to writers that write in the English language, with a top choice, that of the publication of poetry collection of the American Nobel laureate Louise Gluck. In 2017, she started publishing Greek prose and poetry, aiming at presenting to the Greek audience works that are characterized by innovation in conception and thematic. Under her own initiative, important writers or works of writers that were never published before in the Greek language were published in Greek, such as the great American short story writer Lucia Berlin. The themes of her choices, as far as the published book are concerned, are wide and are characterized by a humanistic aura. Let's move to Elena Pataki, who is the children's and young adults publisher at Pataki Publishers, one of the biggest publishing houses in Greece. She's been in this position for the last 25 years, but she joined the publishing house in 1992 when she finished her master's degree in software engineering from the University of Crete. In the beginning, she was very interested in multimedia productions and published CD-ROMs for edutainment. She even won a European award in 1998. She was gradually taken by the world of children's books. She first visited the Frankfurt Book Fair in 1986, the year she finished high school, and has participated in the Frankfurt and Bologna book fairs ever since. Over the years, she has been amazed by books and met incredible people, publishers, writers, artists. Today, she feels devoted to this wonderful world as long as it keeps inspiring her. And last but not least, we have Paula Capola, who was born in Athens. She has studied at the Department of Early Childhood Education at the University of Athens and has a master's degree in Information and Communication Technology in education. She has worked as a writer and researcher of educational material for children and adults. She was the president of the Athens Book Publishers Association, and as of 2001, she is the owner and general manager of Nissos Publications. She lives and works in Athens. So let's all start by giving us some information about the pillars of your publishing houses, the positions you hold, and specify if yours is a family-run business or not.
Θα μου επιτρέψετε να μιλήσω ελληνικά.
Allow me to speak in Greek. Good morning to all of you. I'm really glad being among publishers. It is not something common and evident to happen, so that's why I'm really glad. From my CV, you have gotten an idea about who I am and what my background is. I would just like to point out that I have been really helped in my profession, the fact that I was an architect and I had my own architectural office. I was a private individual architect, and this helped me as a CEO at Stereoma Publications. And as I've said, I have been holding this position up to today. When we started as publishers of literature in 2014, I wanted to have full knowledge of the books we were publishing. So our first selection were French books. When I felt stronger, we expanded to other languages as the Greek language. As you said in your introduction, the pillars of our publications are human-centric books with no gender discrimination, no culture discrimination. We respect diversity way to its full. And I would like to say that female authors meet these standards of ours in the publishing sector. I had not realized that at first, but afterwards, once some books were published, then I realized that our objectives and standards are mainly met by women. It's a family business with my husband and my son, and in a family business there is allocation of tasks. The younger generation is responsible for communication and management of mass media and social media, and my husband deals a lot with the commercial part. And talking about female publishers, I would like to say that the way we raised our son is that there should never be discrimination between males and females. Okay, gender equality. Rania, the stage is yours.
Hi, everybody. I am Rania Bakr. I am an Egyptian publisher. We are a family business publisher. I'm the second generation. My father established the publishing house like 49 years ago, in 1975. Me and my brother, we took over since he passed away. We were actually working with him during studies and during our university. I joined the Faculty of Mass Communication because I found that this is the study that's related to publishing in some aspects. It was very nice to join with him. He was very supportive to me. I was brought up in a house that me and my brother, we had almost the same rights. So I didn't feel that I'm different from him. Maybe my father gave me more rights than my brother, or he was very supporting to me. I started working after I finished my education. I started directly with at the publishing house. I started by taking part in all departments. So I just went into jumping into from one department to another. Finally, I'm now the rights manager, but I think, as you all know, in publishing, you can't be doing only one thing. You have to be doing everything. So I do from editing, I do even the cover designing. I choose, of course, I don't design, but I can choose the cover design, the design of the cover. We go with sometimes I go with the finance, looking at the graphs and the book fairs and how they are doing. I also, during the book fairs, sometimes when I join them, I go to sell books directly to the people. I like pitching books to them, because since you are the editor, sometimes you know how to pitch the book for some time. Now I'm just taking like my baby steps in having like an agency promoting some of the Arab publishers, some of the Arab authors to be sold to foreign rights. And actually the Sharjah is helping a lot with that for the grant they are promoting. I think that my brother and I were taking really good steps towards that. Our project started 2010 we saw that we are having this stereotyping about everybody. We have been stereotyped. We are people coming from the pyramids, riding the camels, and having all of this. Everybody has this idea. So we said, and we also have this idea about Brazil. They are just football, but any countries like that. But we wanted to cut this stereotype or to change it. So we thought that by literature and by translating books from different parts of the world, that would be changed. So we had like books from Guatemala, from Iceland, from Mexico, from Serbia, a lot of countries that really helped in changing the idea of the perspective of the readers towards these countries. In 2022, we received the very prestigious prize of the King Abdullah ibn Abdulaziz for our translation project. It was for the whole project, not only for a certain book, which was really, we were crowned by that, because we felt that what we have been doing for the past 12 years at that time, what really got rewarded at that time. So, and we'll keep going to book fairs, we'll keep going to fellowships program, because it puts us together, it helps us in understand everything, understand the other culture, and I think that's all about publishing. Thank you.
Good morning. First of all, before talking about Nisos Publications and myself, I would like to warmly thank for my presence in this panel. I'm really delighted because last year the Book Association organized an event dealing with the topic of inclusion, and I participated then, and it's fantastic that this year, under the initiative of Publish Her, the same happens. I believe this is so important in our sector. I think we owe it to Bodouliashvili, whom I had the great fortune to meet her here in the big book fair when she was invited by Mr. Kidonias. Thank you so much for everything you've been doing for us. So in continuation of last year, this year we are here. We are a small publishing house. It was founded in 1992 by a group of friends who were involved in the sector of intellect and universities. The objective has always been to publish books on social sciences and philosophy. Recently, we started a literary series that goes very well, and I'm really glad about this. We try to publish and give voice to Greek scientists with original works. And of course, the initial objectives, and still remains, is to translate books from writers from all over the world to enhance the Greek bibliography with new titles. This about me with regard to my background. We will have a chance to say more later on. Good morning. I myself would also like to thank Charles Abbot and Bodula Kasim for their initiative. I have been following Publish Her, and I visited the publishing conference in October. And I saw very dynamic women from all over the world carrying out a pioneering work with children and with all age groups. And as you will realize in the panel, it is not that common for publishing houses to be led by women, but things change. And this is such a good message. Your initiative is highly significant. I myself am a member of a family business, a family enterprise. It was born after 5 years after my birth. We complete 50 years of presence. Our publishing house is similar to Rania's. We're a family business. We are 3 siblings. My father is still the head and president, and the pillars are 3. With regard to the books we publish, first of all, is educational books. The first books were written by my father. He was a Greek literature teacher. The next years we dealt with children's books, and in the mid-90s we started dealing with literature, and throughout all these years we have been publishing all genres, dictionaries, essays, short stories. Also, we operate in a 360 action, seminars, reading clubs, We have a school for creative writing, for teachers, for parents, for children, many activities, many actions. We represent Greek authors abroad. We sell rights. So more or less I do what Rania says, selecting books, editing, nurturing of authors, that is embracing and supporting authors that we decided to publish. So my role specifically is children's book, my field, and a little bit of economic and parenting books.
Women publishers here today. It would be a great opportunity to discuss the situation of women in publishing, both in Greece and in Egypt. Have women been traditionally involved in publishing? And did you have some role models while growing up and that inspired you in this field?
Στην Ελλάδα,
In Greece, the publishing industry up to the 60s was a male business. But ever since and after the dictatorship, we had a mass introduction of women in the publishing industry who have left their mark. And please allow me to read out some names. Eleni Vlachou, Galaxias Publishing, Enya Kalalesi Kedros, Karaitidi from Estia Publishing, who worked even before the dictatorship, Ioanna Hatzinikoli, Mandra Kotsiando Exandas. So the role of these women was that they changed the Greek publishing landscape as it should be for the 20th century. And they brought Yursenar, and they brought various renowned authors to the Greek audience. Calvino, Musil, the role of these female publishers was very important because all these first generation female publishers left a mark, even though we didn't realize it at the time. We were not involved at the publishing industry at the time, but when we got to know these authors, it was great to realize that it was the work of a female publisher. Everything was translated right away. Me as a publisher, at the beginning, I was trying to find bestsellers that were not translated, but I couldn't find any. Everything was translated instantly. Hatzinikoli, for example, Ioanna Hatzinikoli, a female publisher I met. She was a French-speaking publisher. She was a cosmopolitan woman, and she showed great trust in her authors. She published, for example, a paper of my sister, written by my sister. She was unknown at the time, but this publisher trusted her and showed her a great opportunity to start her career. And nowadays, luckily, there's a great number of female publishers. A younger generation. Here you can see two great examples, especially Paula, who are amazing. They shine in this industry, and they find time to be part of the community as well. Me, I played a part in the trade unions from the very beginning, but that was quite common for my generation, because we believed at the time that we had to fight for the whole sector as well.
Okay. publishing in Egypt, women have been part of, not say publishing at the very beginning, but we have like the oldest magazine. It was issued by a woman, Rosa Youssef. She's like an icon in journalism, and she had one of the famous magazines that was like in the 30s at that time. We had also Maya Ziada. She was a poet. She has a Lebanese origin, and she has been working in a lot of as a translator also, and as a writer for some long time. We have a lot of Egyptian authors. We have like a very recent and old one. They are really taking a very good place in the culture life in Egypt and in the Arab world for a long time. But now, when I just was asked to prepare my panel, so I went to asking for the numbers. So I found that we have registered 1,250 publishing houses were registered legally. 350 of them were in the name of women. But I think this is not the correct number. They are more than that. Because when it comes to a family business, and there are a lot in the publishing field, we are a lot. The second generation, they are women. A lot of other publishing houses, they are really dominated by either the manager or the rights manager, or they are ruled by women. For instance, in our publishing house, we have in-house working. There are 14 people. 10 of them, they are women, and only 4 men. We deal with translators. We do a lot of translations, so we deal with 97 translators. 74 of them, they are women. I try to get this number in order to see, because sometimes when you're just working, you don't mind if they are women or a man, but when it comes to numbers, they are a lot. If you're going to jump into the Cairo International Book Fair for like a visit, you're going to find that most of the publishing houses, they have women there working, either like sales or cover designers, translators, authors. We have a lot of authors, women, so you can easily spot that. While I'm talking to you right now, my assistant, she's the sales manager. She's in a Doha for the publishing for our stand there in the publishing house, and she's like taking care of the stand with the sales and everything. So I feel, and at the same point, it's not a matter of a man or a woman, but if she's capable of doing that work and she's able to do it, why not? So he shouldn't be. She's going there, packing the books, putting the books and putting them on the shelves, start selling to people, having connections. So if she can do this and she's capable of that and she loves to do that, why not? Why do I have to stick to that? It has to be a man, or it has to be a boy or a girl or whatever. So that's it. We do also a lot of non-fiction books, more of an academic books. And we found that most of the master's degrees and the PhDs, they are women. They are very, we find also that most of the women, they are very well, they were very well educated. They are into studying, into doing masters more than men, so they have this own place. We have to give them the right to that, and I think this is sort of our role in publishing.
Όπως είπε και η
As Lisa said before, there is a long tradition in Greece of having women leading publishing ventures. The ladies that the first generation delegate mentioned were very, very, very important. And at some point I realized that the choices they had made formulate me as a reader. For example, when I was a child, I used to read books from Exanda's publications, and these formulated the way of reading. But still, our sector is prevailed by males. despite the fact that female publishers like the ladies we have here do an excellent group. Of course, the challenges that female publishers deal with in Greece are similar to all the challenges that respective women are faced with in other countries. And in the past, today, of course, it is much, much easier compared to the past. We're talking about a sector of culture that may seem that fits more to women, in quotation mark. This was realized, and now they are left to evolve. The second point is that in the book sector, there were women in the line of production. Most editors of publications have been women in the past when the printing technology was not digital as today. With regard to paging or composition, the parts of life that were not that male and connected to the hardcore of printing were undertaken by women. So it is a sector that has been hosting women in very crucial positions from production to heading a publishing house. I will agree to everything that has been said. So the question was about our role models. I would like to say that, as Paula was saying, I remembered that my mom used to do montage, and now I'm telling her, come to do montage as you did it 50 years ago, so that we can see what it was like. With regard to the women, Mrs. Schiola mentioned, I would add Mrs. Kardamitsa, who was also very, very important. When I was little, I would hear my dad talking a lot about Nanaika Lianesi. I hadn't met her, and although I didn't intend to deal with the publishing sector, this woman was my real model and inspired me. From what my father would tell me, they had a lot of similarities. She had great passion. She took care of books. She was very honest and trustworthy, just like my father, but she was more open-minded. She was more open. The publishing house then was like a community, and what my father could not do, because it is a more lonely person, he works on his own. When I decided to get into the publishing sector, I wanted to follow the path of this lady, and through my own perspective, my own lens, women are better in doing this. For example, I think the publishing house as a house where we welcome the author, the translator, the reader. So we want to welcome them and take care of them and host them so that they are all happy from this hospitality that we offer. Also, another role model for me was Georges Sari, the author. In children's book, pioneers were women. Georges Sari was a person that traveled all over Greece, came in contact with children. She created readers since the 70s, and she conveyed this passionate, more revolutionary way of hers. And she has such a strong will to make to make every child interested in reading.
these positive developments turns in the right direction. And since you all mentioned that women play a key role in different parts of the publishing procedure, both Greece and Egypt remain patriarchal societies, male-dominated in the publishing sector. For example, let's consider that men often control the financial or the sales departments in a publishing house. So, which are the challenges specifically that you have been faced with so far, and how did you overcome them? What has changed in the positive direction, and what still remains to be changed?
Greece, although many steps have been made, Greece still remains conservative and patriarchic, we should say. Of course, from an institutional point of view, the position of the woman has improved dramatically. But I would like to say that we owe a lot to the first women laborers who went out of their households to work in factories and initiated this mentality and this mindset that we want to have a voice in the society and in the higher rank positions. Indeed, although there is male prevalence, males cannot take from us things that we can do much, much better. And the whole circle of publications from the publishing sector, starting from the literary agents, most of them are women. Rarely do I see a man advocating authors' rights, editors, translators, paging, etc. In this whole range, we can see women. Women are better equipped, better prepared to avoid traps. Traps of a society that remains, unfortunately, conservative and patriarchal. Let us see. What is a publisher? A publisher, to me, is a music conductor, an orchestra conductor. The conductor has everything in his hands and coordinates everything. So this is the publisher's role. We start from selecting the title. Suivi éditorial is the French expression, and I like this. You follow the whole process from selecting the book title to the last stage of the process. So in this sector, women with their empathy and the way they can manage things in a more subtle way, they do much, much better. We do much, much better. What is the challenge? The challenge remains the same for everyone. We need to keep our readers. We need to increase our readers. We need to cultivate this love for reading, and this has to start from the early school grades. And of course, in Greece, we have a tremendous problem with libraries. There is a tremendous gap.
I like the expression of being the orchestra, that one. That's really very, very inspiring. Okay, let me tell you a funny story. It's not funny, it's maybe funny for me right now, but at that time it was not like this. When I started working with my father, that was early 90s. I'm very old, and then we started, I went to the office, and then he told me he had like a project At that time, of course, there were no PDFs, no internet, no emails, so we have to work face-to-face with each other. So he had then a meeting with the printing house, two guys coming from the printing house. We have a meeting because we're doing like, at that time you used to print on calc, you know, and we have to give it to the printing house. And we do a lot of provas at that time. They give us the book, a mock of the book, all of these steps. And he told me they were going to be responsible for that book because it was a very big book. It's a historical one with a lot of photos and all of this stuff. And I will be directly working with the printing house. I entered the meeting. They were the two guys sitting in front of my father, and then they said, well, I was like the very lively girl with all of this background. I'm very looking forward to work and like this. And then I entered, and then I just gave my hand to shake hand with the guy, and he refused to shake hand with me. And he just put his face into the floor, and for him that was, he refused. So for me, I was a little bit shocked. I didn't know what to do because it was my first time to have this attitude from anybody, and didn't know why. But he was okay. The other guy, he was more of, yes, let's work, we're gonna see, blah, blah, blah. Because it's really, we had a contract and we're paying them a lot of money, so things have to be done. And then, so my father, he said, it's okay, how things are gonna be working like this. He just, things were like, you were very hot at that moment. And then after they left, and then I was talking to my father, he told me, it's okay, it's up to you. If you don't want, we can just cut the contract and cancel it. It's no problem. Especially that my role was always to find the mistakes for them. So I will be like monitoring editing what they are doing, monitoring what they are doing, and they have to give me the work, and I have to revise it and get it back. So I'll be like, we're gonna have like hard time together. But I said, it's okay, why not? Let's try to work together, and think we're gonna find a way. And I'm not gonna stop all of this because he doesn't want to shake hands with me. That's nonsense. We work together. Actually, they switched the work to be with the other guy, not that one. And after like long time, I met that guy again. And that was the only project we did together, and we stopped working with him. I met him, and he was, I didn't expect that he was just reminding that evident what happened. He told me, yes, I can remember, and I remember at that time I was very rude, and I was but it's okay. But for me, yes, it happens, but it doesn't mean that I have to stop what I'm doing, or it doesn't have to affect me. Yes, I was upset maybe for some time, but for me, now when I'm saying this, it's like a very funny story. So this won't affect anybody. So it's like this. So it's the problem with the society. Sometimes we have a very good rights. By law, we have rights as women in the society. But the problem sometimes not with the law, it's with the people themselves and how they are going to deal with you as a woman in that position. Sometimes they feel, oh, you're a boss for all of this. Yes, I am the boss. You are doing all of, yes, I am doing that. So what's the problem with this? So you should be staying in the kitchen cooking. No, I can do this and I can do that also. Why not? So if I'm capable of this, why not? So that's it. That's the perspective.
My personal experience, as I said, Nisos publications were not founded by me. It's not a family business. At some point, I was found there, and then I acquired the publishing house, and now I own it. I am the owner. So when this happened, I had to compete the male founder of the publishing house, who had been very, very successful. So I had to compete with this male image, and I had to prove that I can continue what someone else, a man, had started, in a successful way. And I can succeed in continuing this this publishing house that I had inherited. I remember one day I met with a colleague, another publisher, talking about something, and he said, tell Magis, for example, about this. And I said, okay, I will tell Magis, but I am now the one who leads, and I take the decisions. But he said, okay, but tell Magis. Okay, this was something that would be repeated again and again because I was a woman, I was a young woman, and this was unforgivable at that time. But I had to prove that that was not true. I think this has been proven, and the only way to succeed is to be persistent despite all this aggressive behavior and this hostile mentality. But if we persist and if we focus on our mission, only forward can we move, and more women enter the publishing sector. These discussions about inclusion, about diversity, has been integrated now to every domain in our life, and males have started realizing it. So, as I've said, we are a family business. So, as a child and as an adult woman, I had a problem. A lot has changed since then. And with regard to gender equality and inclusion, but throughout my course, in 2011, I had to go to carry out an MBA. Not because my skills and qualifications were not enough, but I wanted to lock, let us say in quotation marks, my skills and stand on my foot. And when I heard the term mansplaining, I realized that I have received a lot of mansplaining in my life. Because I told you that I did an MBA degree. Because in the past, I remember some people would say, "You don't know, I know. You're not qualified. I am qualified." So this has definitely changed. To me, a challenge is that at some point we will never think of genders of our interlocutors. And I was very happy that when discussing with a writer from Thessaloniki, he told me that when I talk to someone, I never think of whether they are a man or a woman. It's all the same to me. I think I answered your question.
And we have discussed about talking about women writers and how they are perceived, what they write, what changes there have been there, and if there were women books that you considered groundbreaking, but I could just address to the audience and see if you have questions, because this would be also interesting, and if not, we can continue for 5 minutes more. So, are there any questions, issues at hand? Yes.
Καλησπέρα.
Good afternoon. We're all aware of the situation of women in the publishing sector in Greece. They are closely connected with the nature of the publishing houses that usually are family publishing houses. As our ladies of the panel said, they have leading positions. The fact is that there are not many women, with an exception of Paula Capola in the panel, who are leaders of publishing trade unions. Still, women are a minority with regard to these collective bodies, trade unions. So you, female publishers, how do you feel about this? And what is the experience from Egypt? Rania, could you please tell us about your experience with regard to trade unionism and women in Egypt?
I think, yes, we are not most, but some of the publishing house, we are like the second generation or a family business publishing house, but also there are a lot, they are just started on their own now, and a lot of them, they are women. And actually they are gaining a lot of awards. I mean, in the yes, you mean the legal part concerned with the government, because this in Egypt it's like this. The Publishers Association.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I was meaning the Publishers Associations.
Yes, for us, the Egyptian Publishing Association, it's they do elections and everything, and they always have a woman, by the way, in the board. They're always like, they have 1 or 2 women in the board, and I really pity them, because it's a lot of work they have to do, and lots of work, and sometimes it affects publishing for them, because they have to do like a lot of governmental work, they have to go for a lot of conferences, they have to do a lot of work which affects the publishing house at some time. So they should have like another one who's rolling at that time, because they have to stay like 4 years. So it's 4 years for the public work. It's not easy to manage both of them. And they are very active, going to all book fairs, going to a lot of conferences, doing a lot of that. So being a publisher and at the same time this, it's very hard. For me, I won't do it for nothing, but because I love being a publisher more than having this title. Okay?
Yes, indeed, it is difficult. I think the first one was Annie Raya, who was for a number of years president of the federation, and she had to cope with everything and with everybody. Indeed, it is tough, but she made it wonderfully, and she contributed to this opening and paving of the path for other women. But also Katerina Katidi, Elena Pataki was in NLV. Indeed, this is a constant battle. Because also in this field we need to have a stronger voice, because in trade unionism voices have to be louder. And something else I would like to add, because I was deputy president of NLB, and for many years I participated in the board of the European Educational Publishers Group, and I was asked to become a candidate for president. Indeed, it is a lot of work. If I remember those years, I really wonder how I managed to carry out all the different tasks I had to cope with, along with my profession. I am, of course, I loved it and I was really passionate. But this absorbs so much energy that you inevitably neglect a little bit your profession. It takes a lot of courage, a lot of passion, a lot of energy indeed. I would like to add that there is a problem. Women often don't know to take leading roles. So a lot of, because they believe that this means that they won't have enough time to do other things. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of pain, and they want just not to bother about it.
Waiting, but I think this is an ongoing discussion that can continue after this panel ends because issues at hand are very important and will be discussed for years and decades to come. Thank you all for being here. I'm honored to be your moderator. Keep up the good job.